Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatamane. Taking this Bhagavad Gita class wherein Arjun is showing all those symptoms that his Gandhi is slipping down and all those romanch, his body is shaking. I'm feeling the same thing today because last time it was Gokul sitting here, so I was all the time looking at Gokul and I was confident, bol dunga kuch bhi, it will work. But now today I think all senior Vaishnavas, advanced Vaishnavas, Bhakti Vinod Prabhuji is here, so I'm feeling a little bit yeah, comfortable is there in uncomfortable. So it yeah. Okay, before I start, I would like to request all the senior advanced Vaishnavas so that they bless me, so that whatever I speak today, it should be in line with the Vaishnava Parampara, and the Supreme Lord and Guru and Gaurang should be pleased with that. So today we'll be taking Śrīmad Bhāgavatam verse, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse number 10. Suta Uvacha Yada Parīkṣit Kuru Jangala Vasat Kalim Pravishtam Nija Chakravartite Nisham Me Vartam Antipriyam Tata Sharanasham Samayuga Sondir Adade Suta Uvacha Yada Parīkṣit Kuru Jangale Vasat Kalim Pravishtam Nija Chakravartite Nisham Me Vartam Anati Priyam Tata Sharanashanam Samayuga Sondir Adada. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Suta Goswami said, while Maharaja Parīkṣit was residing in the capital of Kuru Empire, the symptoms of the age of Kali began to infiltrate within the jurisdiction of his state. When he learned about this, he did not think the matter very palatable. This did, however, give him a chance to fight. He took up his bow and arrows and prepared himself for military activities. So the context, I think we all know. The sequence is going for the past few weeks. Parīkṣit Maharaj now is witnessing the entry of Kali into his kingdoms. By what? Through the symptoms. So Prabhupada explains that just like before the winter season, what happens? The cold breeze starts to come, and then winter arrives, right? And then before this monsoon season, we see the clouds and suddenly it starts raining. So, but then an intelligent person, what does he do? Does he say, oh, the rain has come, what should I do? He will prepare, right? Because the monsoon will come, the rain will come. So he better be ready with his raincoat, with umbrella, so whatever things he can do to protect himself. Similarly, the Kali-yuga is going to arrive, that is for sure. But then, is that an excuse for a king to say that, okay, Kali-yuga has to come, what can I do in that? So this is a sign of a weak person. But Parīkṣit Maharaj, Prabhupada says, he was sad as well as he was happy. Why? He was sad because Kali-yuga is now entering, that is inevitable, but he was happy. Why? Prabhupada gives an example, just like a sportsman. So sportsman, if he gets a chance, if he is practicing for so long, and if he gets to play in the tournament or in a World Cup, he'll be more than happy, right? So he's ready for that. So whatever capacity he has, in his limited capacity, he will try to win the game. That is what he will do. So Parīkṣit Maharaj gets ready. He takes up his bow and arrow and goes on to fight Kali. So this is the sign of a Kshatriya, real king or a real leader. So he doesn't shy away from the challenges that are put forward to him. Then Sanatan Goswami, before I start this, so Sanatan Goswami, very nicely puts his feelings about Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He says, Mad ek bandhu, mad ek sang, mad guru. So Guru, my only Guru is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. My only companion is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. My only friend is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. My all wealth is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is like life and soul, right, to us. So that is how we should feel. Then normally what happens when a person gets a big post, he becomes proud of that, right? And whenever he introduces to any person, he'll put forward his title first. For example, in organizations, in the companies, right? Say, I'm the vice president, I'm the director, I'm a general manager, or I'm a CEO of this company. That is how he'll say. So Sanatan Goswami, interestingly, how does he say? How does he introduce to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He says that Neech Jati, Neech Sangi, Patita Adham. Neech Jati. That means I belong to a Neech Jati. I've been associating with people who are Neech, wretched people. Neech Sangi. I've been in association with the people because he was serving the Islamic king, right? So Neech Jati, Neech Sangi, Patite Adham. Patite, fallen, Adham, the lowest of that. Like Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, right? The four kind of people, right, who doesn't come to his shelter, right? So now Sanatan Goswami is topmost, one of the topmost bhakta, one of the topmost devotees. How he is introducing himself? The lowest. So this is the humility. By this, what happened to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? What did he say? Is that your humility is piercing my heart. In English, it is written, it is breaking my heart. Now, in English, all that, cannot be captured. That feelings cannot be captured. But I was hearing, listening to a lecture, he was saying that, it is piercing my heart like 1,000 needles. Now, breaking a heart is, it gives a feeling, but piercing with 1,000 needles, it is even, more intense, painful, right? So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was feeling. So humility, it controls the Lord. So when we speak about Bhagavatam, we should speak with all humility. And what we'll do today, I just jotted down few points in which the characteristics of a good leader or a king, and the symptoms of the age of Kali, how they impact us, and then how we can resist that or overcome that. So there are few points I've noted down. We'll discuss about that, and we'll also take some examples from the elevated souls. So then the first, even we see this second shloka of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, wherein Shukadeva Goswami talks about, the Kaitava Dharma, right? Dharma Prochati Kaitava Atra, right? Parmo Nissaraman Satan. So in the last two words are, I'll just focus on that, which says Tat Kshanat. Trata Kritibhi Sushrubhi Tat Kshanat. Tat Kshanat means Supreme Lord is established in one's heart. That means if somebody if he has a desire to read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then the Supreme Lord is established in his heart. Turant, immediately, desire. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, interestingly, he gives a very different flavor. Generally, he does that. So he says that Tat means Krishna, Krishnasya, that means Krishna's, and Kshanat means festival. That means as soon as one feels that I must read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Krishna starts rejoicing. It's what? Festival for him. So that means when we have a desire to read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the planning, the rejoicing, the ceremony of the festival, it has already started. So once we read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then how happy Krishna will be, right? So festival means we are all happy, right? Rejoicing. So Krishna becomes so much happy with that. So the qualities of, one of the foremost qualities of a king or Prabhupada says that a king should be dharma parayan, right? He should follow the religious principles. Because the Shastra say, what do they say? Dharmena hina pashubhi samana. Without the principles of religion, the society is as good as animalistic. It is an animalistic society. Eating, sleeping, mating and defending and nothing else. Just that. So, if one is not following or the leader is not following, definitely the public will follow the leader. What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Yad yad acharti shrestha. As the leader does, the general public follows him. So, whatever standards he set or a low standard he sets, the public will be even lower than that, right? So, why do we require a king? Bhishma Pitama tells, why do we need a king? Why do we need a leader? Because in general, the public is sinful. So to set a high standard, they need a role model, right? So they need a role model so that they can follow. So leader means who has a following. Is anybody, can anybody tell me a definition of a leader? Okay. So how many leaders we have in this room? So leader means who has a following. There is someone or the other who is following us. Someone or the other who is watching us. From that point of view, everyone is a leader. So everybody is a leader. That means there is someone who is looking at us constantly, watching us like I was. Okay. So you better be careful. So it's not that, I'm not tagged as a leader, so I'm not a leader. For the parents, right? The child is following them. So the child, if you tell him something, he will do, he may not do. But if you do something, he will analyze very carefully. And then he'll start following that. And at the right or wrong point of time, if you are giving some pravachan to a child, that's my experience also, he will tell, this is you did, right? And now you're telling me this, right? You told X, but you are telling now Y. So this is how, so we have to be very careful. And above all, whether somebody is watching us or not, Paramatma is there, right? We all talk about, we are personal, right? We are not impersonal. But most of the time, let us, frankly admit that we are impersonal. We don't see, Paramatma within ourselves, witnessing, every activity that we have, right? So it is very important. So a leader means whatever activity he does, he should think that somebody is constantly watching me, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, right? He went away and he said that I couldn't find any person, who is, richer than me, lower than me. And Duryodhana came and said, I didn't find any person, who is better than me. So this is the vision of a leader. So in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada says, I'll just quote a very nice translation Prabhupada gives. He said that king should protect first the Brahmanical culture. Second, he should be very alert to the welfare of its citizens. He should not be greedy due to attachment to material enjoyment. If a person with no qualification represents himself as a Kshatriya, he cannot be called a Kshatriya. He is Kshatra Bandhu, like Dvij Bandhu, right? Prabhupada many times he goes. So here he quotes that it's Kshatra Bandhu. That means he may look like a Kshatriya, he may, present himself like a Kshatriya, but he is not a Kshatriya. Why? Kshatriya has these qualities. So first is, he should protect the Brahmanical culture. So I take example of Bali Maharaj. There are two favorite characters of, I like. One is Bali Maharaj and the other is Vritasur. Yeah. So Vritasur. So these two characters, they demonstrate, in all the adverse situation, how a devotee should behave, the pinnacle of that, I feel that. So when Bali Maharaj was told by his guru, Shukracharya, what did he tell? He told that, he is posing as a Brahmana. Who is he? He is Vishnu himself. What he'll do in 3 steps, in 3 paces of land, he will take away everything. Okay? So better, you have done sankalp, it's okay. Now I'm telling you from the Shastra. Okay, I'm telling you from the Shastra, you can still get away with that. How? Just lie. Just lie. You can lie. I'm telling you, Bali, there are situations in which you can lie. Right? In a marriage, right? Marriage has to be done. हाँ हाँ लड़की बहुत अच्छी है, लड़का बहुत अच्छा है, just marriage is done now, it's okay. He tells that. It's there in the Shastra. Shastra. Then, in a situation where one's life is in threatening situation, right? So if it is threat to life, so you can speak a lie. Okay. If a cow has to be protected, then also you can lie, right? If now it is for Prabhuji's, Mataji's, please don't listen. So if you have to please your wife, okay, to get the matter sorted out, you can just postpone it. You can say, yeah, I'll get it done. Don't worry. So it is there. So, but this Shukracharya's, instructions. So we don't follow that. So Bali Maharaj said, Aham Praladi. What instructions that you're telling me, they're fitting. They're right. They're from the Shastras, right? But Aham Prahladi. My standard is very high. It's not that low standard I have. And he says, Naham Vivemi Niryaha. Guru Maharaj, with all due respect, I don't fear hell. Nirya means hell. I don't fear ocean of miseries. Not just misery. I'm not fearful of ocean of miseries. I don't fear death. I'm not fearful of falling down from my position. Which position he was having? Indra's position, right? He defeated Indra. I'm not fearful of anything. The Guru say, oh, you're not fearful of anything? No, I'm fearful of one thing. I've committed. I promised a Brahmana, right? And if I promised a Brahmana, if I don't fulfill that, that's the, scariest thing that I have. I'm most scared of that. So this is the level, this is the kind of, a mentality a king should have or a leader should have. So he said that you only told, right? Everything is for Vishnu. So if I give everything to the Vishnu, then what is the problem? But why? His salary was getting deducted. Salary cut. You see, right? In corporate, salary cut is there. Or, there is retrenchment, resizing. So Shukracharya was probably thinking of that, So there's no salary coming. Everything goes to the Vishnu. Then what will I have? So we don't follow. Prabhupada says that we don't follow such acharyas. Shukracharya means, Shukra means semen. That means who have taken birth from a certain family, they consider themselves to be Brahman or Kshatriya or a Vaishya. In Kali-yuga, everybody is a right. So then we'll see now some of the qualities of Parīkṣit Maharaj and the qualities that should be there in a king. So the first one is highest duty is to God. That is spiritual. That's the highest. That's the highest duty he has. And next to equal importance to truth, Satyata. Now this Bhishma Dev is telling. Bhishma Dev is telling what should be the qualities of king to Yudhishthira Maharaj in Mahabharata. Okay. So because the world rests on truth. Why? There are 4 legs, right? What are the 4 legs? Yeah. You don't need to remember, right? Only truth, because that is prevalent in Kali-yuga, right? So in Kali-yuga there is only one leg remaining, bull, which is representative of dharma, that is truth. So that's why everything is, lying on truth. So first thing is spirituality. Now if we see, there are several kings, right? I was hearing the other day, Krishna Dev Rai, I think in South India, right? He built several temples, and he was king of Hampi, right? So he built several temples. His first priority was temples. Yesterday we went to see Urdeshwari Mataji, and there we saw, it was such a place. I think not even 1 feet, right? Something. So they've kept a very small miniature temple. I could hardly see that. I just noticed it, right? So as they say, right, you can take a Indian out of India, but you cannot take India out of an Indian, right? So you can take a devotee of the temple. You cannot take what? Yeah. So the temple will always there in his heart. So I saw that, okay, the devotee is always dependent. So that's a nice thing, right? So then there was another king, right, Raja Jaisingh. When the invaders, like the Islamic invaders, attacked the Vrindavan, what happened? All the deities over there, right? So the Brahmins were fearful. So Raja Jaisingh said, okay. So they asked for shelter. Raja Jaisingh, please give shelter to deities. He said, how can I give shelter to the deities? The Lord is giving shelter to everybody. Please bring the Lord. I'll give this complete palace. They will be at the center. right? I'll be there as a servitor. So he was very happy. He was more than happy. And when the stamp they have, right? In the stamp also, if you see that, Raja Jai Singh, it's written, who is the owner of Jaipur? That all, it's the Radha Govind Dev. Radha Govind Dev. And he is what? He is caretaker. So that is what his stamp said. So this is how the king should be. Practically, we went over there, Radha Govind Dev temple. It's a fort. It's a fort. And then we went over there and we thought, okay, we are from ISKCON, we do nice kirtan. And slowly we started, our group started kirtan, and we were around 20-25 of them. And we were thinking, people will be, very happy here now. They will hear the kirtan. And slowly, steadily, so many hundreds of people started coming. So many devotees. And then they started their kirtan. And then slowly, the level, we saw our level. The whole palace, the whole fort, Govind, Radhe, Govind, they were chanting, and, we were like, now these are devotees. The whole city has come to the temple. It's so elevating, you'll get goosebumps, the way in, unison they chant, wonderful. They will not wear, dhoti and kurta. They'll come, everybody who goes to the city for the work, they first come to the temple. They first take darshan of Radha Govind Dev Ji. So that's how the king should be and the subject should be. Then the other point is that, truthful. So one should be truthful. The leader should be truthful. Okay. That's also an important point. Now to get the work done, right? Diplomacy, right? People called now diplomats are criticized, right? It's not a good term. Prabhupada himself has criticized, diplomat. Don't be diplomatic in your behavior. Why? Because they have to get their work done, right? But diplomacy is an art, right? Diplomacy is an art. Then, but we should be always truthful. We should not speak the lie. Once what happened, Srila Prabhupada went to a program, and in that program, the devotees, they were dancing, doing kirtan, they were doing it on their own. They were very happy. They were very ecstatic. And after that, when they were coming with Srila Prabhupada, so Srila Prabhupada, then, the other devotee who was doing it nicely. And he said, Prabhupada, today the kirtan was ecstatic. I felt it, I rejoiced like anything. It was wonderful. Prabhupada looked at him. Okay? He said, the kirtan is not for your pleasure. The kirtan is for Krishna's pleasure. It is not for your pleasure. So whatever activities that you're doing, it is not right. The Prabhupada corrected him. He said, the way you were chanting, the way you were the way you were doing kirtan, did you see that? Did you observe? I said, no, Prabhupada. I was rejoicing, and I think everybody was rejoicing because he saw, people. Prabhupada said, do not do a kirtan. Do not sing in a manner that you are doing a performance. This place, this Vyasasan or the dais of the kirtan, it is not a performance stage. Okay, you don't have to show your skills. How skillfully I can, sing in different all seven notes. No, it is not for that. The people are not able to follow that. The kirtan is to purify, so the common public can follow. That's the meaning of kirtan. So Varadas Prabhu, he told that, he said that I got nicely from Prabhupada. From that day onward, skills are aside. Like we see that, okay, oh, this person sings so well, all these notes, perfect, everything. Prabhupada said nothing. It doesn't mean anything. What means is whether you are able to please Krishna or not. Whether you are glorifying Krishna or not. Sitting at the Vyasasan, if I speak 10,000 shlokas to impress you, that is useless. Prabhupada said, unless until you are glorifying Krishna, that is the only purpose of this Vyasasan. That is the only purpose of doing kirtan. That is the only purpose of doing arti. Nothing else. Nothing else. So one should be truthful. The leader should not be afraid of speaking the truth. Prabhupada always spoke the truth. And once, okay, I'll take the other one. I don't know. I've just started. Okay. So the other one is the leader should be balanced, right? The leader should, we see that, right? And it's there in all of us, right? A leader is either lenient or very strict, right? So the problem with leniency is the people, they don't take him very seriously. Chalta hai, right? In Hindi we call it chalta attitude, it works, come on, no problem. Kirtan is happening here, let's have our chat, at the end. It happens, not just this place I'm telling, it happens everywhere. But those who are serious, where are they? Purport said, when lecture is going on, people come and sit. When the kirtan is going on, why are you standing outside? Kirtan is not important. What does Krishna say? Satatam kirtayanto mam. When kirtan is happening, this all is happening to do kirtan only. And for kirtan, you are not sitting here, you are standing outside. Yes, if there is seva, then you do that. That is important, because that is also seva, this is also seva. But chatting, that is not a seva, that is prajalpa. Atyahara prayascha prajalpa niyamagraha. Right? So all these things, they what? They destroy our bhakti. That's important to know that. So once I had the opportunity of bringing Shruti Kirti Prabhu, who was a personal servant of Srila Prabhupada, to our center. He said that Prabhupada once told me, he used to do massage and cook for Srila Prabhupada. He said that Prabhupada said, I can't make Shruti Kirti, the temple president. That's why? Because other devotees, were recommending. Said, because Shruti Kirti is easygoing. He's sincere, but he's easygoing. He'll say, okay, koi baat nahi. So certain positions required, certain attributes. So because the truth has to be spoken, the person will feel, he might feel, bad actually, Whether Krishna will feel bad or not, that we have to see, nothing else. But obviously, we have to speak the truth in a palatable way, right? We have to speak the truth in a palatable way. It's not be, Prabhu, out, not like this. We have to speak in a Vaishnava way, Vaishnava adequate way, we have to speak that. Once Lakshmi Moni Mataji, also I had the opportunity to bring her to the center. She's also a Prabhupada disciple. She was telling that, she was in US and she was taking care of this Gurukul hostel, okay? And that was a girls, basically, girls Gurukul, and there was boys also, around. But in India, we understand the concept of brahmachari and, girls and boys separated and all those things. So in the night, what happened, she said that once in 1 a.m. in the morning, so the girls, they snuck out with the boys. They went to the nearby basketball court. Okay. They went to the basketball court and started playing. Then the police, policeman, they were patrolling. They went and saw that. They saw that, okay, so these kids, what did they do? They jumped over that fence. They jumped over the fence and they were playing. So the police, caught hold of them. They, brought them to Mataji, because she was, I think, the warden over there. Then she was like, oh, thank you very much. I mean, she was very impressed. The police is taking care. And she told the police, now in India, we tell, right, to police, generally, if policeman is going, we'll tell, okay, if the kid is not behaving, inko jara bolna, just tell him, if you don't do things properly, then I'll put you in behind the bars, right? Or somebody, if you see some elder personality. So the same way she told Lakshmi Moni Mataji. So please, these kids didn't know, how dangerous it was, going out 1 a.m. in the night. They went along with the boys and they were playing. They were just, the policeman, and you please admonish them, just chastise them. They will not listen to us. So she said, the policeman said, hey lady, just cool down. They were not doing anything. There was no crime, right? There was no murder, there was no drinking, there was no drugs, nothing was there. Like the kids were playing, that's okay, cool down. So she was saying, this is the difference in upbringing, right? This is but this is not Vaishnava culture, right? So this is not Vaishnava culture. So the culture, this thing called in management, we call that culture beats the strategy. You make any kind of strategy, any strategy you make. If the culture doesn't follow that, the culture is chalta hai, it will fail. We have to change the culture. So this is Vaishnava culture we are building here. We may make 1,000 strategies, they will fail. But if we build a culture, then it will go from generations to generations. Prabhupada built a culture. Strategy is temporary. Tactics are temporary for that situation. But culture will always remain. So we should always remain focused on that. Then Radhanath Maharaj also, he gives his experience. He tells that when he came, first time, he came and then he was made, he was like heading the temple. Said that initially I was like very lenient. So whatever I told, nobody used to listen. Then after a while, I thought I'm too lenient probably. And he said, I became very strict. Okay. Then see, a Vaishnava is generally, for he himself is very strict. For the others, he becomes lenient. So we all know Radhanath Maharaj, right? So he said, I became very strict. Then after that, then again people started, they were started to leave, because when their people are fearful, they will not come and share their heart, right? So they will one day they will just leave. So a leader has to be balanced. Okay. So balance means when it is required to be harsh, when the principles are transgressed, he will be very strict on a general day-to-day basis, right? If he sees that okay, this person is advancing, okay, but he should not spoil the other people. That's also an important thing. कहते हैं ना कि एक मछली सारे तालाब को गंदा कर देती है, right? So that also should be there. The principle should be adhered to. That's very important. So principle should not be compromised. Never compromised on the principles. He was lenient in certain matters. Once Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, once he said, I heard his interview. He was telling that, once, see, we, as a devotees, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, right? He was like, Prabhupada used to call him the fairy personality, right? So he was telling that, everything Prabhupada said, I used to say, yes, Prabhupada. One day Prabhupada called me. I said, Prabhupada told me, okay, Tamal, you have to do it. Even before he was telling me, he said, yes, Prabhupada, I will do it. Yes, Prabhupada, I will do it. Yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada looked at him. What do you mean, yes? I haven't told even properly, what you have to do. What do you think of yourself? You think you know everything? Huh? You know everything? You know nothing. I'm just quoting Tamal Krishna Maharaj as it is. So he said, you know nothing. He said, then I was like, whew, I'm doing as it is, how he did. So he said that Prabhupada knew at what time, when we do a service, the ego, what happens? Inflates. I'm doing the best service, Prabhupada is always appreciating me, right? But he knew, when to punch up the ego. So that's very important. And he said that after a few days, I was hesitating to go in front of Srila Prabhupada. So then he said, Prabhupada called me. Prabhupada called me, and because he was gathering a lot of Lakshmi, a lot of money with his Sankirtan party, he was getting. And now the general principle is that wherever you're getting your money, that for the temple, it has to be spent over there, okay, unless it has approval from Srila Prabhupada. So then he said, Prabhupada called me. Prabhupada, fed me nice prasadam. I thought, okay, now what? Said then after that, Prabhupada fed me puris, everything, halwa, samosas, kachori. I was like, Prabhupada, now I'm till, here, please. Said Prabhupada called me. Prabhupada said, Tamal, I have a request. Said, what is the request? Prabhupada, you order me. Said, my request is that, so much money is there. Now, anyway, you are not going to use this money because it's too much. Can I use your money, for building temple elsewhere? Now see, it is Prabhupada who all established, right? And what is Prabhupada doing? Prabhupada is showing, how. Because he was the authority. He was the authority. So we must never transgress the authority. Prabhupada showed that by example in front of the other disciples, how you should behave with the authorities. You should never, try to jump over. So that's important thing. So Prabhupada mentioned that. Tamal Krishna Maharaj mentioned that. I don't know, it's already 9:26. Prabhu told me it's 9:20. Okay. Fine. I'll quickly try to do it. So then it's another point is leader must be compassionate and strong. Leader must be compassionate but strong. So Bhishma Dev says compassion must be part of leader's mental makeup, but must guard against the too forgiving nature, because then he will be considered weak by low man. Then they will take his advantage. This is Prabhupada's words. Okay. Then okay, let's skip this. You all know, right? Bhakti Vinod Thakur's story, wherein this Falgu, Bishan Sen, he tries to play a god, right? Mahavishnu. We all know. I will not be able to complete. Okay. Okay, I'll take this story. and I'll grant. See, there we have, we have in software we have this software. We have plan, right, for software builds. So we have to give software release every 6 months. So sometimes there is a exception that is taken. In that, okay, this is important from the customer point of view. Please take this software and deliver this, within this time period. So I'll request one exception today. Okay. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, he was a district magistrate, okay, during Britishers' rule. So district magistrate during Britishers' rule, that was the maximum position they could give to an Indian person. That was the maximum. You can understand his caliber, how intelligent he was. So what happened? They got a complaint. The Britishers got a complaint that there is this so-called sadhu, Bishan Sen. He claims himself to be Mahavishnu, avatar of Mahavishnu, and he is, what he is doing. He's just having everybody's wives and daughters, everybody at his place, and treating them as gopis, and he is Krishna. So he's playing that. Okay. Now we are getting complaints from people everywhere. Now you please rectify this situation. This is our request, because we have sent many people, right? So our soldiers, but everyone, because right, the villagers, right? So they have this, the trust is, if it is built, they'll think, no, this is God. It's very easy, Arjavam, right? So then what they are doing is that the villagers are driving us away. But we are getting so many complaints. So you please, if you can rectify that. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he went. He said, okay, I'll take up this job. He went over there. He went and reached his campus. And in the campus, he called this. He told his disciples, okay, tell him that I'm district magistrate. I've come here to arrest him. Okay. Then this Bishan Sen, what did he say? He said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that what was his name? I forgot. Okay, he tells that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I know you have come here to arrest me, but I am Mahavishnu. Once these Britishers go away, I'll drive them away, and I'll make you what? I'll make you the Viceroy of India. Okay, I'll make you the Viceroy. Viceroy means the head of state at that point in time. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if you are Mahavishnu, what are you doing here? Okay, where should I be then? You should be residing in Jagannath temple. Okay, Jagannath temple? What Jagannath temple you're telling? Okay, because Mahavishnu resides in Jagannath temple, right? Krishna resides over there. What are you doing here? Okay, that's just a log of wood. As soon as he heard Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said that arrest this guy. He's an imposter. He's an imposter because now he defamed, right? This is an aparadh he has done. So he arrested him. When he arrested him, they took him back. All his followers, they started crying, and all that start the drama. Right today also, right? There are several so-called gurus. They are inside the jail, and what do they say? In Delhi also, there's a guru. I don't want to name him. So he's also in jail, and what does his followers say? They're so innocent. I don't know, innocent or fool. They said, yeah, he has done all kind of nonsense. They said that actually, like Krishna went to the jail, our Guru Maharaj is also incarnation of Krishna. He has gone to jail. Now it is given, ordered from the Supreme Court everywhere, everything, videos, all the evidences are there. So this guy is a fraud, but this happened. So this guy was a yogi, Bishan Sen was a yogi. He told Kedarnath Datta, Kedarnath Datta was a material name of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, Kedarnath Datta, if you're not going to release now, all your family members, everybody, I'll get them killed. Not by, force. I'll do some tantra mantra and I'll kill them. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, you do whatever you want. I'll do whatever is right. Okay. He started doing that. These guys now, these yogis have powers, right? So he started, doing some tantra mantra. All his family members, they went near death. Almost they died. Everybody had cholera or some kind of a disease. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he could not get up from the bed. It was the day, not the judgment day, but he had to go to the court for the proceedings. Then he said that still there is time, I'll forgive you. This guy, Bishan Singh, he said that still there is time. I'll forgive you. So one person told Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this person is very clever. He's having, see, when you do yoga sadhana, you get siddhis, right? Siddhis, Ashtasiddhi, right? We know that. There are 8 kind of siddhis, right? Anima, Ligma, Prapti, Vashima, Vashita, Ishita, and all those. So you get all those powers, basically. So that the power of these yogis is in Shikha, right? Shikha. So the Shikha is like, the antenna. They have the connection direct. So this Shikha. So if you cut his Shikha, probably, you'll get rid of him. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, orders, and they cut his Shikha, and immediately, everything was okay. All his family members, everyone. So this knowledge also Krishna gave, right? Because he was determined. So the king is always determined, no matter what the situation is, no matter what calamities are there, right? The person will not budge from his position. So that was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And that point, and he only established, all this, because all this parampara was lost by Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas means who take everything lightly, Sahaj, easily, chalta hai, they will all kind of nonsense, and they said, Krishna did this also. So this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur was. Last time, final. I'll close now, Prabhuji. Summarize. Huh? Okay, I'll straight away go to the points which which will save ourselves, from the age of Kali. So first point is the introspection and inventory. Introspection and inventory. That means taking the stock of the situation. We do inventory check, right? Inventory check how much. Narendra Prabhu, you do that? How much is stock? Or Anandini Mataji, somebody who is taking care of kitchen, right? How much is there in the kitchen, right? All those things basically, let's take stock of the situation. Similarly, what we have to check? Our sadhana card. Sadhana card. You know sadhana card? No? This is the first time we are hearing? Oh, no? But we have to follow it religiously. Religious means sincerely, right? 16 rounds of chanting, not counting. So generally we do counting. I'm not excused out of this, I'm also part of this gang. So it's like 16 round chanting. Those who are initiated, right? I'm talking about those. So, but whatever chanting that we do, we have to do it sincerely. So we have to judge, where we are, where we were 1 year back and where we are today. So the graph has to go up, because in bhakti, there is nothing called, stability, that you are, okay, I'm there where I was. No, it's like uphill, we have that treadmill. In the treadmill, what happens? It keeps on moving, that roller, right? So then if you are not doing anything, you will fall down. So we think that we are where we were. That means we have gone back. So that's how. Then Radheshyam Prabhu tells that, aspiration shows the compass. What kind of desires I'm having? I still have those desires. Okay, I may be having the desires, but are these desires in line with happiness of Krishna? No. Then probably. Or if I'm improving, look at my desire. Okay. Maybe 5 years back, I wanted to have a Mercedes. I am satisfied with Maruti. Okay. So probably that's an improvement. Radheshyam Prabhu was telling, once a devotee, newly, he was coming to the temple, this student, and he said that this boy was saying, Prabhuji, I am making progress. Because you told me, to keep your sadhana card, and, I feel I'm making progress. He said, how? He said, Prabhuji, earlier, I used to go to the college and I used to eat vada pav from anywhere. Okay. Then now, Prabhuji, now I go to Govinda's, and then, it's, and then after that, I go. I'm not eating from other ways. Now, is it progress in bhakti or not? Confusing, huh? It is, Radheshyam Prabhu said. It is. Because why? Otherwise, what was he getting? Krishna, what does he say? The food that is not offered to me, you are verily eating sin. Right? So, but now he is eating what? Prasad. Right? Prasad. So now he is eating prasad. So that's progress in bhakti. He said, very good. Keep it up. Then check the direction. Direction means, as we progress in bhakti, right? That pride, as I said, pride comes, and as they say, pride cometh before the fall, right? So the pride, we have to constantly look, that we are not becoming proud. whether I am feeling that now I am independent, or whether I feel that now I am more dependent on Guru and Krishna. So that's one of the factors. Whether I feel that I have become independent now, or whether I feel that I am now more dependent on Krishna. So that is how. If you feel that, I cannot do anything without Krishna, so that's a progress. So then the other thing, third thing mentioned is that, our fuel tank. So fuel tanks, he mentions 4 things. Physical vigor, that's the health. Unless we are healthy, we'll not be able to. I think Japataka Maharaj also says that, take care of health. But he will tell only the others. For him, you have seen the standard, right? Even at that condition, the counter tick, tick. We saw that, right? That condition. So that's the level. So a Shuddha Bhakt, a pure devotee, will not care about, but he understands the position of others, If they fall sick, aaj to bahut fever hai, kya kare? Because we are like that. We are attached to this body. They are not. It appears that they are in this body, but their body is transcendental. Prabhupada says that one who considers the body of a spiritual master as a material is atheist. Is a fool, number 1. So we should consider the body of a spiritual master. Yeah, exactly, transcendental. So then the second thing, intellectual actualization. Intelligence, whether I'm sticking to the higher principles or not. So principles should never be compromised. Third thing, emotional bonding. Emotional bonding, we know 6 kind of loving exchanges. What is that? Nectar of instruction. Ganati, Vichati, Vijate, Shadvidhi, Priti, Lakshanam. Yeah. So then he tells that Dadati Prati Ganati Gohyam Akhyati Prichati. Right? So the word, what is the word? Gohyam. That means intimate. So there should be a person who should elevated than me, okay? Who should, I can share my, whatever I feel in my heart. There should be one person at least. There should be at least one who should be, you think that, I can look upon him. So there should always be one person. But then he also says that, Gohyam also means, Gohyam is applicable for everything. Dadati, giving, whatever gift you give, it should be spiritual. Pratigrahanati, Gohyam, Akhyati, speak, Prichati, ask. It should all be spiritual. Bhunjate, you offer food, you take food. What it should be? Krishna, Krishnaized. Everything should be in relation to Krishna. So that is Gohyam. Krishna gives the Gohyam, right? Param Gohya Gyan, transcendental knowledge. So everything should be transcendental, not just Akhyati. Then the spiritual connection. Spiritual connection is our sadhana that we have to see. Then our desires. Yeah, I think this I covered already. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with what I have prepared of 30%. Okay, maybe I think next time we'll do that. And if there are any questions or comments or corrections, I will be ready to accept that, because I think they are senior advanced Vaishnavas over here. Any comments, any corrections, please. I'm ready to take that. Yeah, that's a very common thing actually. Prabhupada said in ISKCON, right? It's an organization, right? And an organization, we have to have, people who will manage. Now, those who manage, they get all the, abuses. ऐसा होना चाहिए था, वैसा होना चाहिए, तो आप आ जाओ, then you come and do it. Right? Then you do it. If you have so many complaints, some people are just complaint boxes, right? Managers become, the poor managers, those who are managing, they become complaint boxes. Everybody comes and, drops complaints. So then you come and do it. Prabhupada said, then you come and do it.
One important takeaway for me is check your kind of sadhana, whether how much you are independent by yourself or how much you are dependent on Krishna. Yeah. So if you are more dependent on Krishna, then you are able to.
Thank you.
Satisfy the Lord, then satisfy your own suffering.
Yeah, very important, because it creeps in.
Yeah.
It creeps in drop by drop. We never know.
When you become puffed up, you feel you are doing everything.
Yeah.
Very nice class, Prabhuji. I mean, a lot of real world examples. I just had a small doubt that Bhaktivinoda Maharaj.
Mataji, my guru should not be asking me. This is like to test me or what?
No, it's a genuine doubt. Who else can I ask? So, yeah, you were telling about Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
Yes.
Right? Like
Mission Sen.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was doing mystic yoga.
Yeah.
And then, but somebody, I mean, it should not affect, no, when they are chanting holy names in their
Yeah.
house and all. It should not have. How is it then?
You mean to say if we are chanting, we should not be impacted?
No, yeah, none of the family members also. No, obviously,
Yeah.
because then they will start getting. If they are not, I mean, he's Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but
Yeah.
if somebody starts, does that work mystic yoga when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord? Because that is more supreme, right? Harinam is supreme, so it can protect you from everything else.
Yeah.
Then how is that thing working?
Now, how did you come to know Bhaktivinoda Thakur 1? Because of chanting only. So the pure devotees of the Lord, they do all these pastimes, and the Lord puts them into such precarious situations. Yeah. They show them as an example. This guy who went through all this can do it. You can't do it with your daily problems. So that is how we have to see, right? Bali Maharaj. Now anybody would say, I have given you everything. Third step, huh? You have taken all the three worlds, and he would say that, now what is there? I mean, I have given you everything still. Are you Lord or what? I've been praying I've been giving everything to you. Then, didn't Bali Maharaj say that? He said, no. What is there? This is my ego, this ego. And what did his wife Vindhyavali said? Vindhyavali, his wife. So that's how the wife should be. Bali Maharaj said, okay, Prabhu, okay, or you have taken in the 2 steps, you have taken the 3 worlds. Okay. Now you don't have place to put the 3rd step. You put it on my head, because this is my body. So this is my ego, ahankar. So Lord was happy. Vindhyavali said, Prabhu, this guy doesn't know. When he gave away the 3 worlds, this body is different from that. He doesn't understand. But why she was doing that? Because she loved her husband. She was able to please Vaman Dev, and Vaman Dev was pleased by her. Vaman Dev was equally pleased by Bali Maharaj. But look at them, look at that couple. Both of them wanted to please Vaman Dev. So that's how a family should be. No matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstances, we have to be Avashya Rakshabhe Krishna, right? The 3rd principle of Sharanagati, right? So that is how one should be. Krishna will be there.